Long before Yelp, Google reviews, or Reddit threads, there was Ea-nasir. And 3,700 years ago, he managed to trigger the oldest, pettiest customer service complaint in human history. We've all been there. You order something online, wait weeks for it to arrive, and when the package finally hits your doorstep, it's absolute garbage. You get mad, you type out a furious paragraph, hit submit, and move on with your life. But imagine being so incredibly furious about a bad delivery that you grab a stylus, some wet river mud, and painstakingly carve your rage into a solid clay, baking it in an oven so your hatred could literally survive the collapse of civilizations. Meet Nanni, a disgruntled businessman from the ancient city of Ur, and his target, Ea-nasir, the Bronze Age equivalent of that shady eBay seller who takes your money and ghosts you. Today we're diving into the hilarious, relatable, and deeply petty world of the Tablet of Ea-nasir, proving once and for all that while empires fall and languages die, human nature never ever changes. To understand why Nanni was so incredibly pressed, we have to rewind to roughly 1750 BC. This is the Bronze Age. If you wanted to make tools, weapons, or statues, you needed bronze. And to make bronze, you needed two things: tin and copper. Because of this, copper was basically the oil of the ancient world. If you controlled the copper trade, you were swimming in wealth. Enter the city of Ur, located in modern-day Iraq. Ur was a mega hub of commerce, and at the center of its copper trade was a man named Ea-nasir. Now, on paper, Ea-nasir was a big deal. He was a member of the Alik Tulmen, a guild of elite merchants who traveled across the Persian Gulf to buy high-grade copper. He was an international importer, a Bronze Age tycoon. But Ea-nasir had a bit of a reputation. See, in the ancient world, you couldn't just file for bankruptcy or open a customer service ticket. Business was done on trust, handshakes, and legally binding clay contracts. And Ea-nasir, well, he was cutting corners. Big time. Which brings us back to our protagonist, Nanni. Nanni had paid Ea-nasir a substantial amount of money in silver for a shipment of top-tier copper ore. He even sent his servant, a guy whose name translates to something like sit-sin, through enemy territory and dangerous trade routes to go pick it up. But when the servant arrived, Ea-nasir pointed to a pile of scrap metal and basically said, "Take it or leave it." When the servant tried to complain, Ea-nasir allegedly told him, "If you don't want to take it, go away." Imagine the sheer audacity. You send your assistant across the desert and the merchant gives him the ancient equivalent of "sucks to be you, no refunds." When the servant got back to Nanni and told him what happened, Nanni absolutely lost his mind. He sat down and penned, or rather chiseled, what is now known as Tablet of Ea-nasir, currently sitting in the British Museum. Let's read some of this 3,750-year-old masterpiece of pure spite. Tell Ea-nasir, Nanni sends the following message. When you came, you said to me as follows: I will give you Gimel Sin, when he comes, good quality copper ingots. You left them, but you did not do what you promised me. Nanni is just getting warmed up. He then attacks Ea-nasir's customer service etiquette. You put ingots which were not good before my messenger and said, if you want to take them, take them. If you do not want to take them, go away. What do you take me for that you treat somebody like me with such contempt? That is universal language for, I want to speak to your manager. But it gets better. Nanni started bringing up past grievances, revealing that this wasn't the first time Ea-nasir had messed up. I have sent as messengers gentlemen like ourselves to collect the bundle with my money, but you have treated me with contempt by sending them back to me empty-handed multiple times, and that through enemy territory. Nanni is essentially saying, my guys had to dodge bandits and warlords to get my copper, and you couldn't even have the courtesy to be open during business hours? Finally, Nanni drops the ultimate Bronze Age mic drop. He tells Ea-nasir that he is keeping the bad copper for now, but he's withholding future payments, and from now on, he's personally inspecting every single piece of metal. Take notice that from now on, I will not accept here any copper from you that is not of fine quality. I shall from now on select and take the ingots individually in my own yard, and I shall exercise against you my right of rejection because you have treated me with contempt. The absolute formality of I shall exercise against you my right of rejection is spectacular. It's the 1750 BC version of I'm reporting you to the Better Business Bureau and disputing this charge with my bank. Now, you might think, okay, a guy got mad, wrote a letter, and sent it. Why do we have it today? Well, this is where the story goes from a funny historical footnote to absolute legendary status. In the 1920s, famous archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley was excavating the ruins of Ur. He stumbled upon a house that clearly belonged to Ea-nasir. And inside that house, in a specific room, archaeologists found something hilarious. It wasn't just Nanni's tablet. Ea-nasir had saved multiple tablets from different customers, all complaining about the exact same thing. He had a whole archive of hate mail. There was a tablet from a guy named Arbitrum complaining that he hadn't received his copper yet. There was another from a man named Imgersin telling Ea-nasir to stop delivering subpar metal and crying, I am tired of this. Another guy wrote to him complaining that a delivery of silver had mysteriously shrunk in weight by the time it arrived. Ea-nasir wasn't just having a bad day when he dealt with Nanni. He was a systematic, chronic, unapologetic scammer. He was running a Bronze Age dropshipping hustle with terrible quality control. And the best part? He didn't throw the complaints away. He kept them in his house like trophies. Or maybe, just maybe, he was using them as scrap clay. Either way, because he kept them, his terrible business practices have been immortalized for nearly 4 millennia. Eventually, karma caught up with history's most notorious copper merchant. Archaeological evidence suggests that Ea-nasir's business collapsed. His lavish house was partially converted, his trade routes were cut off, and he ended up forced into the much less lucrative real estate market. But while his business failed, Ea-nasir achieved something few humans ever do: true immortality. Today, Ea-nasir is a massive internet meme. There are subreddits dedicated entirely to him. People buy replica clay tablets to use as coasters, and he is universally recognized as the patron saint of bad customer service. If you watched our last video on Kushim, the accountant who recorded the first ever human name over a receipt of beer, you know that history isn't just about kings, wars, and treaties. Sometimes history is just ordinary people doing ordinary things. Nanni just wanted what he paid for. Ea-nasir just wanted to make a quick buck. And because of their petty, beautiful squabble, we get a window into the world that feels shockingly close to our own. So the next time you write a furious review online because your Amazon package was damaged, just remember, you are participating in a tradition that is almost 4,000 years old. What's the pettiest customer service experience you've ever had? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to Learnt for more deep dives into history's hidden gems, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.